Love this thing. So looking forward to using this. So check this out. These lights are nuts. Look at this. The on switch is on. They're working. Oh, okay. Anyway, when I come back from this trip, today's Sunday, by the way, so 11th of April. When I come back, I'm gonna hook this up to here. So which part goes where? This part goes to here, and then I'll just store it here like this, because I'm taking too much space here. You see, my space is supposed to end over there, and then I have to take this, and I think I'm gonna load this on top of the Jeep. I saw guys do it. So basically I'm gonna flip it, and I'm gonna hook this up to the Jeep's fifth wheel and just put a bar, so, I mean like a piece of timber, and tie it down with a strap. And because I only need this pretty much when I use the Jeep. Like I'm not gonna use this as before, when, you know, when I'm running with a long neck and 2+2 in the back, because it just catches too much attention. You know, cops think that you're way too heavy. Like I already had a couple of times people stop me for no reason, just because I was driving and I had the spreader bar in here, you know, and I was like 2+2, and I had the long neck, and that's how I got that ticket in Ohio. The guy just, "Can I see your permit?" And I wanted to ask, like, why? Like, what drew the attention of the law enforcement? And I'm pretty sure it was this. You know, they don't like it when you have too many axles. And of course, you know, once they stop you, they will always find an excuse to give you a ticket. So that particular guy gave me a ticket, 175 bucks US, because I made a mistake on the permit. And instead of CAT 336, I wrote CAT 330. Just for one wrong character, he gave me 175 bucks ticket. All because he didn't like how, I'm pretty sure, because I was long and I had the spreader bar, you know, like, why do you need so many axles, right? With such a... And then he says, "Oh yeah, this thing is probably 80,000 pounds, you know." So these guys, they all know, you know, because they deal with this, right? It's like, we often think that they don't know what they're talking about, but they all do, you know. They deal with these machines, right? And then they scale trucks a lot of times, right? And so they have an idea, you know. They look at the machine model number and make, and they have an idea how much it weighs, you know. Like, we often think that cops have no clue, but they do. Because imagine if you scale trucks for a living, right? You sit at the scale and you see trucks rolling by, and, you know, you make a mental note, like, okay, why is this guy, like, you know, 160,000 gross? What does he have on the deck? Oh, CAT 349, you know, something like that. So they know that, let's say 349 is much heavier than, let's say, 336, right? And then another time I got a ticket in Massachusetts because I had no idea that maximum is 130 gross K, right? And no local trucks use a quad because of this, because it's useless, you know, because it only adds weight. You know, I'm talking about 4 axles, right? But I went there with a quad trailer and 4-axle truck, and of course the guy stops me because I sticked out like a sore thumb, you know, compared to local trucks. And that's been my experience, that you don't want to be too much different from trucks that cops see on the road in that particular state or in that particular jurisdiction. And so now, yeah, now today I'm moving out towards Grand Rapids, Michigan, where Monday I'm loading a Cat 335. And I asked my customer, I said, are you sure it's 335? I never heard about a 335. I know I hold 330, I hold 336, but... And he says, no, it's a 335. Okay. And I already have, I met with one of his employees yesterday on my way to the, no, not yesterday, when was it? Saturday, Friday? Friday.
500 meters, slight right to stay on Pine Bush Road.
Yeah, when I was driving to my hotel in St. Catharines, we found a place where we can intersect, like, because his employees were coming back from Toronto, and he passed through them the original documents.
Take the next right to stay on Pine Bush Road, Waterloo Regional Road 39, then turn right onto Franklin Boulevard.
Hold on, so is it open or closed? I gotta check this. Hold on. There's a ramp over there where I can jump. Alright, it's open. Yeah, there's a ramp and there was a sign, but I see now they removed the word closed. And you see this? I'm supposed to go there, and I'm always running. I'm running over the curb. So now I was lying in bed. I was lying in bed and thinking about this, and I had this crazy idea. Check this out. Shut the heck up. So I'm supposed to take that one, right? But I'm too long to go through that corner. And I had this idea, like often you get ideas when you're lying in bed or you just woke up, you know? So I go like this, check this out. There's nothing illegal about this, right? It's all legal. And I have 2 lanes. I'm a genius. You see? Now we turn the right signal because we're going this way. See? No more running on curbs. You just do one extra loop, because they made that entrance, it's too short. You know, like it's okay for a 7-axle, like when I have a booster or when I just have 3 axles in the back, I can do that one. But still, I have to go all the way to the left, pretty much run my left tire. Yeah, see, it says access to Highway 401 West to be closed. And then at the bottom there was a date. And now they removed that date, so I'm guessing that's it. No more construction. And that's why I stopped over there. And I was able to see this ramp from that side, and I saw cars were going, so that means I can go, right? Because, you know, then you're screwed. If this is closed and I went over the bridge, then I have to go through a residential area, through some narrow streets over there. So, you know, better safe than sorry. And that's it. We're on 401 westbound towards US border in Port Huron. Yeah, there's a bunch of construction everywhere because it looks like they're widening the 401 over here. Shoot, I forgot to close the window in the sleeper. You know, the trick I learned: when you leave your truck for a few days, open one of the windows, because this way bad guys might think that you are inside the truck. Smart, eh? But then every time I do this, I forget to close it. And how I know it's open? Because I hear the wind whistling, you know, and then I look in the mirror, I could see that the top window is open. And so yeah, I spent a nice relaxing weekend in St. Catharines, Ontario. Very quiet little town. Everything is open except the bookstore, like Indigo. Big Indigo bookstore is closed, but Starbucks inside is open because it has a separate entrance. And the Zayre's nice grocery store is open. And if you saw the previous video, I went to the waterfront. Nobody cares about the lockdown, right? It's supposed to be lockdown, no travel unnecessary unless you're buying groceries or something. But you know, people are sick and tired of this. And I'm pretty sure that protest I briefly saw, you can see it, like people were walking around with signs over there when I was going back. I'm pretty sure it was about this. People were protesting the lockdown imposed by the governor of Ontario, or premier of Ontario, which is same as governor in US, you know, like a guy in charge of the jurisdiction, you know, like state, province, right? So over here they call him premier, and his last name is Ford, like the car, Premier Ford. Let's see, will this guy let me in? Because my lane ends. Of course not. That would be too easy, right? And so I got up at 7 o'clock, packed all my stuff, went to... Yeah, this lane is very bad over here, over the bridge. There's a couple of bridges. First of all, there's always traffic coming on this ramp, and then there's a couple of very bad potholes over here in the right lane. One is right here at the beginning over there. You see this? Much worse over there than here. And another one is here, over here. And then after this, I always switch back, and nobody's the wiser. And so I drove over to the Starbucks next door, and it's so quiet. You know, this being Sunday, I see there's two cars in the parking lot in front of the Starbucks. And I look inside, I don't understand, maybe they're closed. I see all the lights are pretty dim. But I go try the door is open. And there's two girls inside, and they're so happy to see me. They say, "Hey, you're the second customer." And she says, we were here. I said, "When did you open?" And she says, 6:30. So this was like around 8 o'clock. So in 90 minutes, I'm the second customer. You know? And so I got my Venti Americano and a grande cup of water, no ice. Got into my car, And as soon as I started driving, very heavy rain began. So it was lots of fun, you know, driving on the QW back towards Cambridge in the heavy rain. But I managed it, and so I dropped off my car at the Chrysler because we booked an appointment for 8 o'clock Monday, and I told them, can I leave the car Sunday? They said yeah. They have a key slot. You just put your keys in the envelope. On the envelope you tell them what you want them to do. And so they're doing oil change. They're checking my brakes because I think I need new brake pads. And my handbrake needs some adjustment. Or actually it's a foot brake, but you know, manual brake, like a parking brake. And also I want them to check alignment and balance all my wheels. And yesterday, by the way, late night, I got so tired of hauling these two humongous tires in the back, you know, those 20-inch 245s. I took off, and now I have 275s, right, which are much better. I like them, but I had nowhere to put those tires, and I didn't want to keep them because I want to switch to 275 in winter in the back as well. And so finally yesterday I managed to sell them. And first the guy showed up at 3 o'clock. I sold the factory throttle body because now I have BBK 85mm, so I sold my factory 80mm. Tried $200, nothing. $100, nothing. Finally it sold for $60 Canadian. And then the tires, I put brand new tire like that. One tire, Goodyear RSA 245, what is it, 45-20? Or 245-40-20, I forgot, but 245 and 20. So 20-inch rim, and tire is 245mm wide. And the brand new one is around 250 Canadian, one. And mine were only slightly used, 18,000 kilometers, so 11,000 miles, 2 years old. Well, 2.5 years old. And so I tried 250 for both, no takers. 175 a tire. I tried 200, no takers. Then I put down the price 180, all Canadian, so $90 per tire. And finally some guy messages me, is the price negotiable? I said, yeah, sure, more or less, let's talk. The guy says, and I swear I'm not lying to you, so the price was 180 for two tires, were brand new. Each tire is 250 Canadian, right? And so this guy says, is the price negotiable? So he doesn't want to pay $90 per tire. I said yes, and he says, if you take $100, I can pick them up today. And that's like, I knew right away. I look at his name, I know he's from Asia, and these guys, you know, of course he was not, I'm pretty sure he did not expect me to be so foolish as to accept $100, but that's his way of negotiating. And I hate when people do this, you know, because I said, hey, brand new tire, 250, okay? So the worst I can, the least I can do is 160, $80 a tire, that's it. So I went down by $20, where he wanted me to go from 180 to 100, and there's no way I'm selling those tires for $50 Canadian a piece. That's just stupid. So anyway, the guy finally says, okay, deal. He says 160. So he just went from 180 to 100, and then in 1 minute he changed his mind and he says 160 is, we have a deal. and he showed up at my hotel at 8:30 at night. I thought some foul play will be involved, because he says, how about 8 o'clock? You know, before he messages me, you know, can we meet at 8 o'clock? He says, I'm coming from Toronto. And I said, yeah, as long as you realize that the sunset is at 7:54 p.m. Like, how are we gonna sell tires in the dark? And he said, oh, that's okay, I'm coming from Etobicoke, which is, you know, western part of Toronto. And so he was late and keeps sending me messages, almost there, almost there. And then finally shows up. I said, okay, you have 5 minutes. If you don't show up, if you're not here before, I think I gave him like 8:45. Yeah, I said, if you're not here before 8:45, the deal is off. And he shows up at like 8:44. I show him the tires. He loads them up. And I say, you have cash? And finally he gives me the money. Everything is good. And then we start chatting about trucking, because turns out he just got his AZ or AZ license, you know, truck driving license in Ontario. And he was asking for my advice because he cannot find work. He says nobody's hiring because of COVID. And of course he has zero experience. And how do you get experiences if nobody's hiring, right? And I asked a friend of mine if he has any job openings, and he says he might have something. He says, ask this guy to call me Monday. And so I sent him a text message to this guy who bought my tires. I said, a friend of mine might have a job for you, just give him a call Monday. He said he might hire him to drive a water truck. It's probably just a DZ or DZ, like basically a 5 or 10 ton truck. It's not a tractor trailer. But I told this guy, he was asking me, I said, take any job that involves truck driving so you can start gaining experience. And I said, just do any job with truck driving for 3 to 6 months, and then you'll be in a much better position to get a better job. You know, just I told him, I said, don't look at the money, don't look at anything, just take it for 3 to 6 months and you'll be okay. Because, you know, if you don't get a job, then, especially if, you know, let's say you found finally a job, I don't know, 5 months later, right? And then you go there and now you already forgot everything you learned at the school and you have zero experience. And the guy, of course, before he gives you a truck, he does a road test, you know, and you make a million mistakes. You cannot back. When you're coupling, you forgot to check the height of the fifth wheel, stuff like that. So people will not have too much, you know, trust in you if you have zero experience and you got your license like 5, 6, 7 months ago, you know. And actually I told him, I said, you know, the best way is you have to find the job before you go to the trucking school. That's what I did, because you need to know which trucking school to go to. Because if you go to a cheap trucking school and then you know, what if employers in your area don't like that school? You know, maybe it's not, you know, it's infamous that the graduates get into accidents or something like that. And so that's why I found a company that was ready to hire me, right? And I asked them what trucking school I should go to. They said, any trucking school as long as you get your driver's license. Because she said, we have our own training program, so we're gonna train you with the instructor on the road, in the classroom, so we don't care which trucking school you go to. perfect. So I chose the cheapest one, and then took a couple of extra courses. I paid for more time behind the wheel because I needed to improve my backing skills. And finally I passed, and these guys hired me and trained me, and that's how I got into trucking, right? But I found the job first. But now it looks like it's very difficult. People don't want to hire because of this crazy pandemic. Just past Scale, and I saw a lot of trucks on the ramp, and it just closed like a couple of minutes before I was passing. And before that, I'm driving and I see my Google Maps keeps asking me if the speed trap is still there, and it shows me like there was a speed trap on the right, like somebody here, there was a police car, and it says, you know, is it still there? And I don't see anybody. And then I'm coming to an overpass, kind of like the one in the front there, overpass, and from probably like a kilometer away I could see the shape of a police car parked like this, you know. And I'm like, but I'm doing 57 miles an hour, but it's still weird on a Sunday. And then I see a guy, he's out of the car, and he's wearing a bright yellow safety vest, and he's standing holding a manual portable radar device, and he's right here, maybe in the middle lane. He's standing on the bridge right above the middle lane, and I look in the mirror just to see if anybody's driving crazy, like fast, but and then as soon as so he was standing like this, you know, and his car was parked like this. And then as soon as I passed that overpass, I see 3 sets of flashing lights, probably spread out about, 3/4 of a mile, like kilometer between them. And they all stopped personal vehicles. You know, like a cop, another cop, another cop, like basically like a ambush, you know. So I'm guessing that guy is sitting there and he has a radio. And one guy is on the bridge, and a couple of guys are sitting on the ramp here. Like, there's a ramp to jump in so that you don't see them right away. And then he says something like, black car, Mazda, left lane. And then I changed lanes because I could see far away, like there was 3 cars, right? So you cannot drive next to them. You have to change lanes or slow down to 60 kilometers an hour, 40 miles an hour. And so I always change lanes, of course, it's the law. When you see cops or ambulance or tow trucks on the shoulder, even if it's a broke down vehicle, it's a good idea to change lanes, because the truck generates so much wind, air. It can blow the doors off if somebody's trying to get out of the car and you're passing by. I was in that situation when I was a tow truck driver, so I know it's very unsafe for the people in the car when you're driving, by. Even like, again, I'm doing 56 miles per hour right now, 91 k an hour. That's what my cruise control is set for. But anyway, so I changed lanes, and there was a guy behind me in a truck, and I think he went to the left lane because he didn't see all these cops, and trucks are not allowed here in the left lane. I think he was trying to pass me, and he went in the left lane, and guess what? Right away I see in the right mirror flashing lights, and a cop is pulling him over. So I didn't just catch, either he went in the left lane or he did not change lanes and he passed the cop car in this lane. And that's, like I said, that's a violation. And so right away they pulled him over. So it looks like today, they like doing this on a Sunday or Saturday. I'm not sure why. Well, I guess cops like it because they probably get, extra pay, because this is the weekend, so they get more money, and they're probably looking for drunk drivers, right? Somebody who had, I don't know, funeral or wedding or something is just driving like this, you know, and people are speeding. And I noticed they like doing this kind of like ambush style enforcing, both in Canada and in US, in the nearby states like New York, Michigan. Not so much Michigan, but I saw it in New York and Pennsylvania. But over there, what they do is they, when there's a rest area, they just put up signs, all trucks, and there's an arrow, right? All trucks enter. And so all trucks are rolling slowly through that rest area, and there's a guy sitting there in a police car, and he watches trucks, and then whoever catches his eye, he stops him for inspection, and of course he finds something, he gives you a ticket. So that's what they do over there. But you see, here in Ontario, they like using the overpasses, and they can catch you for all kinds of things, right? Like, because that radar thing, he can probably see not just the car, not just the speed, but he can probably even see, let's say somebody's driving and using a cell phone with the hand. Well, yeah, he can have binoculars, right? So he can have binoculars, he can stand there. So now he's checking your speed, and then next thing he'll just take binoculars and he'll be looking inside vehicles to see if somebody can be convicted of distracted driving. So you gotta be very careful, you know. Anyway, so 6.2 kilometers. I'm taking exit 189. 189. That's Flying J pilot in London. Because I know I need fuel as well, but over here it's expensive. So I'm gonna fuel up in Michigan, in Port Huron, because usually they have a good pricing over there. But they don't have that little truck stop where I like to go. They don't have DEF. Well, they do, but you have to buy a container, and over there it's like $2 a gallon. You know, so it's always best to buy DEF at the pump. You're much cheaper. And so this pilot has DEF at the pumps, and I think I need about $25 worth of DEF. And my needle is coming to 1/4 of a tank, but that's enough because that truck stop in Michigan is only 60 miles away, so I should be okay. And I set up my empty border crossing. Oh, I just need to print out that manifest, the one-page manifest, the ACE cover page. And that's it. So all I need is a passport and manifest, and then of course they'll charge me a toll before entering the bridge. And they go by all axles. They don't care if it's a lift axle, if it's in the air or on the ground. So they're gonna charge me, I think it's like $350 US times 8. So what is that? 24 and 4, $28. Yeah, okay, 189. And from here it's 1 hour to Port Huron on Highway 401, and then I take 402. Yeah, they see the sign has a picture of a house, and it says in French and English, "Stop COVID-19, stay home." And inside that picture of a house, there's a picture of a lonely figure sitting there by himself or herself. Very sad. All right, exit 189, Highbury Avenue. So let's go get DEF, and I'm gonna print out the manifest, and then I can continue trucking towards the States. So this is a good trip. So only 300 miles empty. And there's much less traffic this way than, you know, if I were to go to New Jersey or Baltimore. Cruise control off. Engine brake on. Engine brake off. 8 low. Engine brake. Engine brake off. 7 high. Engine brake. 7 low. All right. So this is 401. So that way is Toronto, this way is Windsor and Sarnia. And the Flying J is, so the price today is $1.27. $1.27 credit, $1.26 cash per liter. Let's see which pump can we go to? Oh, we can go to pump number 1, the closest one to the to the truck stop. I feel lazy today. So now I just need to go and, you see, 89.9 cents is DEF, diesel exhaust fluid. Well, I got DEF, told her 25 bucks Canadian, and the pump stopped around $22. So that's pretty good. So at 90 cents, 89.9 per liter. It's way cheaper than if you buy it somewhere inside a small truck stop in a container. And soy sign, you see the scale, right? Soy sign in the inside on the where the cash register is. It says starting, I forgot, next week or something, they increased the price again for the scale. Like for a very long time, probably like 20 years, it used to be like the same pretty much as in the States, 10 bucks. And then it became 14, 16, $18. And then it became 20. And I think now they're raising it again by a couple of bucks. I forgot, 22 or $24. Just nuts. And I wanted to get, I already had too much coffee today, so I wanted to get like a little bit of regular coffee and then just add decaf. And they have no decaf. Not in a jug, not in beans to cup. And I only had like three quarters of a cup filled up with organic Colombian coffee. And so I went ahead, and one of the jugs was still full, and not surprisingly, because the brand was extreme, like high caffeine. So I went in trying to get like 3/4 Colombian and 1/4 decaf, and I ended up getting 3/4 Colombian and 1/4 extra caffeine. You know, life is like a box of chocolates. So back to 401, eastbound.
Continue on Ontario 401 west for 6 kilometers.
My bad, westbound. Yeah, eastbound, it's towards that way. And then I'm going, my first stop, what I programmed is that Marathon Gas in Marysville, Michigan, just south of the border. I hope the price did not go up too bad, because diesel gets more and more expensive. That's a London Peterbilt dealer. And we're back to 56 miles per hour, because I was getting a killer fuel mileage. Check this out, 32.9. Well, I think it was like 32.7. Yeah, it's gonna be probably 32.5 liters per 100 kilometers, which is excellent for this kind of truck. So that's like 7.5 miles a gallon. What are they building over there? Oh, another John Deere dealership, which over here is Brand, B-R-A-N-D, as in David, T as in Thomas, Brand. And actually, a guy called me from this company. They, I think they're based in the West, and they also build trailers, I think. Yeah, I think it was Brand. The guy wanted my opinion on heavy haul trailer for Ontario. So I gave him a few tips. The guy thanked me. Never heard back from him again. All right, here we go. So if I stay on this, I'm gonna end up in Windsor and Detroit, which I don't want to do because my border crossing, of course, is set up as usual for Port Huron. So we're taking this exit over here, Highway 402.
In 600 meters, keep right at the fork to continue on Ontario 402 West. All signs for Sarnia.
You got it.
Keep right forward to continue on Ontario 402 West.
And from here it's pretty much 1 hour to the United States of America. Very exciting. Sometimes I wonder myself, how did I luck out with a job like this, you know? You're cruising around, you're just holding the steering wheel, you know, you push a couple of papers, and basically very easy job, you know. All DOT inspectors love you because they mostly chase four-wheelers, so you know, you're passing an inspection station, everybody's waving. You know, cops like truck drivers. It's very nice. And the only time, and this is a fact, the only time in my life I got a speeding ticket was in my car. Because, you know, when I'm in a semi-truck, the fuel mileage is so bad that I just drive slow all the time, you know? Like, you're not gonna catch me doing 100 miles an hour in the semi-truck.
Continue on Ontario 402 West for 1 kilometer.
Bye-bye Canada. Hello USA. And this bridge, Blue Water Bridge, it's so steep that, you know, quite often I have fuel like this, like 1/4, because it's always cheaper in Michigan. And so I come in with very little fuel. And a few times, you know, because of such a steep incline, I get the warning, low fuel. because you know the truck is so high at the front, so all the fuel rolls back, you know. And you know, what the heck, I thought I had enough fuel, and then it starts, you know, you have flashing light, you have beep, you know, burp, burp. All right, once again we are stopping in the middle of the bridge, which is actually not bad because I like this area. Like, that's why it's called blue water, because the water, like on a good day like this, the water is so blue, you know, and quite often you can see large ships. That's why this bridge is so steep, right? Is because it has to be tall enough for large ships. And I always want to go there because I know there's a parking in there. Well, actually, wait a second. A couple of times I stayed at this. There's a Holiday Inn right here, right under the bridge. I stayed there, and I was able to walk in here. But yeah, there's an area over there you can park your car.
Welcome to the United States of America. Continue for 14 kilometers.
Yeah, it's very nice over here. And they have sidewalks right next to the water, so you know, you can ride your bike, you can roller skate, wherever, you can just walk. Yeah, it was this hotel over here, and there's some kind of an old like a museum, a railroad station, that red building over there, and that's a very nice hotel. I'm pretty sure it was a Holiday Inn, and it was not all that expensive because, you know, they still have no tourists, right? The border, you see, there's no cars. Like, this is Sunday. Normally there'll be like a roll like that, that lane, the curb lane will be for cars, and of course the middle lane is for fast trucks, F-A-S-T, fast, which is usually guys with a van like this that are hauling some car parts. But now you see there's no cars. All you see is trucks, an occasional car when there's someone like an essential worker is working across the border. Maybe they live in Sarnia, but they work in Port Huron, or vice versa. They live in Port Huron, but they helping out a hospital or something in Sarnia. And why we have jams like this, especially when there's no cars, there's always something, you know. Like I always say, sometimes the border crossing takes 5 minutes, honest. Like, there's no line, you come to the border, there's no trucks, like at least, let's say, a couple of booths are, lanes are open, green light. So right from the bridge, of course the speed limit is 30, so you just roll towards the booth, you shut down your engine, the guy opens the window, and what do you got? You give him your paperwork, you know, 15 seconds later you're rolling out. Happened to me quite a few times. And then the other times you wait 10 miles away from the toll before the bridge, because there's so many trucks, they close the toll. Yeah, I see, that's the hotel. They close the toll because they don't want, you know, like, where do you go, right? There's no place to go, and there's a lineup of trucks like 15 kilometers, 10 miles on 402. And actually they have signs over there. It says watch out, stopped or slow traffic, and some like they have lights and they would flash if the system detects stop traffic, you know. And so like I said, sometimes it takes 5 minutes, sometimes it takes 4 hours, because it's a very complicated system, you know, computer system, right? There's lots of shipments crossing, and so sometimes they have issues, you know. And let's say that's it, like the computer system is shut down, or you come up to the border, like certain times of day they would have a shift change, right? And when they do that, it's not like one officer leaves and another one just comes in. No, they have to chat about their friends and family, stuff like that, right? It's like it's obligatory. So shift change, that booth will be closed for about 15-20 minutes, because one guy has to log out, another guy has to log in. There's some probably fresh memos for the new guy to read. There's some maybe computer updates, I don't know. But it's never like quick, you know. Whenever they change officers, it's always takes time. But you know, I'm not complaining. Like the majority of the public thinks that truckers are paid by the hour, right? Like you always hear this, you know, what do you care? You pay by the hour. Like ask anybody and they say, oh well, that's why trucks are so slow, because you know they paid by the hour, that's why they drive slow, and they okay, they can wait, you know, you can cut them off, you know, they're not in a rush, they paid by the hour. Which can be true for some people, a very small percentage of people, but most truckers, like especially dry van guys, they're paid by the mile. And that's why these guys actually are always driving at the top of their speed. And most company trucks, of course, are governed at 65 or even 60 miles an hour. And so, well, you see, one car in 10 minutes, and he's probably lost. He has no idea that the border is closed. Like, watch for that car, like a small silver Toyota. They're gonna flip him around and gonna send him back. Yeah, so imagine if this guy is paid 40 cents a mile. I think now it's more, but let's just say 40 cents a mile Canadian. So he has to do 600 miles a day to make 240 bucks, right? That's why I never made a lot of money when I was a company driver, because I don't like driving that much, you know. Like, I like driving, I like traveling, but 600 miles, which is like basically you have to spend 11 hours behind the wheel. That's not my idea of fun. And so in my case, right, because it's my business, I'm paid, as we called it in Russia, сдельно. Like we had повременная оплата and сдельная оплата. Сдельная means per job, you know. So I'm paid based on what I negotiated with the broker, right? Minus my fuel expenses, toll expenses. So I just paid 35 bucks to toll to cross this bridge, Canadian. And they don't care if you load it or empty, they charge you so 35, that's so much they charge by the axle, like I said. So they don't care if you have a lift axle up or down. Like the rule is, I think it's $3.50. No, I think it's probably more, $4. Yeah, probably 4 times 8, 32 plus tax, because she just gave me a receipt. Or the guy gave me a receipt, 35 Canadian. Yeah, actually, wait a second, 7 axles. 7 axles. I guess he didn't see the last one. All right, that's good. So I saved $3. All right, so where's that silver Toyota? Are they sending it back? Let's see. Usually cars go over there to the right. Let's see. Did it pass? I want to see. Oh wow, it's gone. So that's probably somebody working in some kind of essential industry. What is that? It can be a hospital, or I don't know, police, firefighter. And sometimes they have one lane on this side open, and as long as it doesn't say fast, I can go there. I can go into any lane that says trucks. So let's see, let's regroup a little bit. So over there, see, everything is closed, but I see a truck. Oh, I see 2 lanes over here open for trucks. Trucks only, trucks only. And like I said, if it's not, oh, I see another guy, Audi. Well, that's a rich guy. So they're gonna let this one. They're gonna let this one go. All right, I better shut down the camera and get my paperwork ready. And then I'm 15 kilometers, so 9 miles away from my marathon truck stop, where I'm gonna get fuel and go across the street to the Myers and get some veggies for the dinner. Maybe get some smoked salmon. Sometimes they have it over there. You see behind me. So now they might stop allowing trucks through the toll because of this. Well, trucks only. You see that one is open, but there's already 2 guys in there. Trucks 1478. 1478. Which one is 7? Oh, 7 is that one. All right, leaving Marysville, Michigan. The price of diesel today was 309. 309.9, so basically $3.10 US per gallon, which is 3.78 liters. So I spent $550 US. I think I got like 173 or 75 gallons,
Turn left onto South Range Road.
some crazy number like that. And I would love to stay here, but my pickup is in Grand Rapids, and that's like 300 kilometers, 180 miles.
In 200 meters, turn left onto I-94 Business Loop West.
That's too much. So I'm gonna go to Perry.
Take the next left onto I-94 Business Loop West.
I'm gonna go to Perry, Michigan. And Perry is 160 kilometers or 100 miles. And so that would leave me 300 minus 160, what is that, 140? Like,
In 300 meters, turn left onto the I-94 East Ramp to Canada, Lexington.
and there's no easy way to get back on 69 from here, so I have to go back on 94. As if I'm driving back to Canada.
Turn left onto the I-94 East Ramp.
Look at this guy. That's how everybody should be driving. Then we won't have any accidents at all. Oh wow, check this out. That's a beautiful Charger. For some reason his right hand headlight is not working.
In 500 meters, merge onto I-94 East.
Yeah, like I said before, in the States, you see Charger. You see the Charger much more often than my car, Challenger. Because I guess people here make more money on average, I don't know. But Charger is more expensive. Because it's a 4-door sedan, right? Whereas my Challenger is a 2-door. And of course, extra 2 doors cost money. And another impatient guy. He couldn't wait 5 seconds till I'm in the lane. Like, the safest way, you want to pass somebody, pass me here. But he went through 2 double solid lines